You no longer have to be a Patreon member to try out the PlayStation Core. Public builds of the core are available for download on GitHub. These are unstable nightly builds, so there is a good chance that you will experience issues, but at least you can try it out. Even though these nightly builds are publicly available, please consider supporting the developer's Patreon. Some bug fixes were announced for the PlayStation Core, some specifically for Castlevania Symphony of the Night. The developer mentions that the game should be playable. Last I tried it, it would boot up and load the first level, but as soon as I hit the attack button, the game would crash. So it's nice to see these bug fixes. Some of the bug fixes also got other games running too. Another interesting note was that someone asked the developer about audio on Twitter, and he responded. What he said was that after his vacation, working on audio will be his first task next year. He's done so much work on the PlayStation Core this year, he deserves a long vacation. New updates to the Saturn Core have been announced. There's been fixes to the sound chip implementation, which as a result produces less stuttering, and support for 8-bit PCM sound samples has been added. There's also been improvements to one of the video display processors and the math coprocessor. As a result of all these changes, more games are now playable. On the developer's YouTube channel, he has a video showing some games running with sound. Sound is a lot better because I remember the earlier videos had a lot of sound stuttering, and it's much improved now. Some sounds still play incorrectly, but the core is at a much better state now. The X68000 core has had a lot of work done to it. A secondary SD card is no longer required. This should greatly increase its usability. A cycle-accurate CPU core replaced the previous one, and there's been behind-the-scenes changes like cleaning up and reorganizing the source code. I've yet to try the X68000 core, but when the holidays are over, I plan to take a deep dive into that core. The arcade ports on that computer were simply incredible. Some behind-the-scenes changes to the update all script and also Jotego's core database have been made. Improvements have been implemented, and the script will ensure you are getting all the latest publicly available cores from Jotego. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, you have the option to download his premium cores. Some of his publicly available cores include the System 16 core, the CPS1 and CPS2 cores, and more. These cores do not get downloaded with the standard update script and have to be obtained either through GitHub or the Update All script. To install the Update All script, just download it from GitHub and then copy it to your MiSTer scripts folder. A new core for an old computer is being developed. The computer is a Tatung Einstein TC01. It was a UK computer that was meant for business use. I have never heard of it, but I wanted to report on it in case any viewers had used it before and would be interested in seeing a core. And now for some non-MiSTer retro news. The core to Zelda 64 has been decompiled. Decompiling is the process of translating the code of a program from what the computer uses to run it into a human-readable format. What can you do with this decompiled port? Well, coders can look at the code and see if they can do their own optimizations to the game and improve its performance or fix issues. The code can also make it a lot easier to create alternate versions of Zelda 64 with more missions, worlds, characters, or whatever the coder desires. Modern Vintage Gamer has a video where he goes into the code and makes some tweaks and changes, then shows off the results. Native ports to any system that can handle the game can also be developed. These native ports can even add better 3D models and modern graphical effects to get a much better looking game. Super Mario 64 was decompiled earlier this year, and a ray traced PC port was created with the code. So, with Zelda 64's decompiled code, it can get a similar treatment. A new Windows 3.1 driver has been released. You might ask, why? Well, this driver was specifically made for virtual machines running in VMware. More modern operating systems running inside of VMware can share their mouse coordinates easily with the host operating system. So you can easily move your mouse in and out of the guest operating system without any extra interaction on your part. This easy interaction wasn't possible when running Windows 3.1 as a guest OS. Now, because of this new driver, This functionality is now available for Windows 3.1 under VMware. So that's it for this episode. I provided links to all my sources in the description. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. And if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and its bell icon so you can get notified of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.